Hey guys, Mike with Gettin Greasy Garage, and back on the old Fairlane here, doing floorage, and yeah, that's carpet underneath the car, on the floor of my shop. Okay, so I like to be in comfort when I'm laying underneath cars. But anyway, I didn't record any of the cutting this out, because if you've seen one rust repair video, you've pretty much seen them all. And taking it apart is, well, still the same. I did have to take out 2 body mount bolts, and other than that, just cutting. So what I've got going here is, on this edge was a seam, overlapped the floor pan, overlapped the rocker sill. So I cut everything out and then peeled that off, clear up to there, ground down all those spot welds. You have 2 body braces here. This one ends right there, and this one obviously goes up into the transmission tunnel. So I went ahead and peeled all the metal off there, cut everything out. Now up front, I've got to put the toe board in, and I've got the toe board cut. It's right there. But the problem I had was where to space it forward and back from, which then led me into having to do this section, which is okay because it needed done anyway, and I didn't really intend on using the whole floor pan from that body brace, right there, from the edge of that to here. I intended to cut it down, narrow it up, but as some of you guys know, you start cutting rusty metal on these things, and you cut until you get into good solid metal, and that's where it ended up. So if you can see, there's some marks there. That piece there still got rust holes in it, and then this is oversized by, it needs to be cut back around a 1/2 inch, and then the same here. So what I'll do is I'll lay my floor pan in, and I'll plug weld this edge, and then of course across the tops of the front body mount, this cross member, and this brace. And then I'll take, because the new pan will be overlapping this edge clear around, I'll be able to use Fitzy's Fabrication's old cutting butt method. Go watch his videos if you haven't. That guy makes this stuff look easy. And his cutting butt method ends up where everything fits real tight. And so yeah, it's a lot of work getting all these spot welds off. Again, if you're doing this kind of stuff, get you one of those Lisle spot weld cutters. Makes a big difference. The other thing I've been using is my little Air 5-inch grinder with 36 grit flap wheels. It thins out the metal above the spot weld real well, and then that Lisle tool really cuts them. Then I just went ahead and ground all the tops of these braces, and yeah, so we'll move outside here, and I'll show you guys how the panel is set up and ready to go. Alright guys, well here's the panel, and there's the step in it for that part on the tranny tunnel. And I've got all of my holes drilled. I laid it in, tack welded it in a few different spots along the edges, so it's good and secure. I got underneath with a marker and traced around the cross members, and that way I don't know where the plug welds need to be. This is right by the rocker, that seam, so here's plug welds. this edge, and then that edge I'll cut and butt. So yeah, you know, if you're doing this for your first time, do not expect it to get done in a hurry. I don't remember, I watched Ole's video. He did a floor pan in a 56 Fairlane, and I know, you know, it takes time. It takes time for me, it takes time for everybody. That's why body shops charge so much to do this stuff. But put this up, and you can see how I laid out lines. That worked the best for me to do it this way. This is where that front body mount goes. But before I do that, I'm going to vacuum out the cross members, and I'm going to spray them with some rust killer and then put no weld primer over it. And I'll do the same on this, just where I'm going to weld. I'll throw on some Weld Thru Primer. That way we don't get any corrosion later on. So, alright guys, well I'm going to get the painting done here and the cleanup on the inside the car and get it painted, and I'll bring you guys back. Alright guys, well I told you I'd bring you back here when I got it vacuumed out and everything coated. So, I'll show you what I use. I use the Dupli Color Rust Fix. It's kind of like POR 15 in a rattle can. Comes out clear, turns the rust black, hardens it up. Stuff works just fine. And then the PBE Weld Thru Primer. So I just went ahead and laid down the primer anywhere where I'm going to be welding that I won't be able to get to again. And then once this is all done, it'll get a coat of bed liner. Now, you notice up there at the toe board, there's been some other welding. I do need to go back through and finish a few pinholes I gotta fill, and then grind the welds down. But I just figured I'd get all this stuff in and revisit it all at the same time. Once I get this piece in, then the toe board, then the back part. Because as you can see, it's got holes. Oh, there's a big hole, there's a big hole there. I kept dropping tools underneath the car. So, yeah, anyway, it's coming along. It's a lot of work. None of this stuff is easy, but you know what they say, anything worth doing usually isn't easy. So let's walk out here and I'll show you real quick the primer on the panel. Here's the panel, and you can see all the spot weld holes. And I went ahead and sprayed primer over this whole underside, and it'll get undercoated when I'm done. That way it'll give it plenty of rust protection. The metal was already coated with something, I don't know, but this will make it even better. And once everything's dried up, come on, focus. Once everything's dry, likely in the morning, I'll get to welding. So anyway guys, not much of a video today, just a lot of showing you progress. And you know, for me, a one-man operation, it's some of the stuff, it's hard to film by myself, and it's also kind of redundant because you guys, if you watch car videos, you've seen this stuff 100 times. So this motor will be going in pretty quick, and yeah, progress. Alright guys, enough out of me. I am tired. 10 hours in the shop today is enough. This is what I do for a living, so, you know, sometimes the guy just needs to go home. But anyway, please like, share, subscribe, comment. I do my best to answer questions and comments. Leave them down below. If you're not subscribed, please do. All that liking and sharing and subscribing and all that stuff's free, doesn't cost you a penny. It really helps out the channel. Excuse me. Alright guys, I'm out of here. Stay greasy, my friends.